I got imprisoned by 1093, and what it cost me is not what you would have expected. Stick around in this video for the crazy story of how it is that I got exiled, imprisoned, and, well, you'll see. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and today's video is sponsored by the makers of Rise of Kingdoms. And today's story is a story of honor, not the kind that's actually earned on the battlefield, but the kind you rack up on a leaderboard, because if you make top 20, there's a season coin at the end of the road. Now, look. Oh, I guess it's not a season coin. It's a conquest coin. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. You knew, chat. Those conquest coins that now everybody wants. Now, it's no secret at the start of this KvK that against 1093 and 1960, I went in and I spent all of my action points before fighting 1960. And the reason I did this is that I got, I think it was almost a Mountain Warfare, maybe more than a Mountain Warfare, worth of crystals from doing that many barbs. I had like 1 million action points. It was actually crazy. And it was saving for this rainy day. Like, this was the time where I go in and I give myself as much advantage as I can. And like, hey, look, our garrison trades were insane, so much so that we got that stalemate against 1960. Now, this is not a video to revisit that. Let's get back into the story. My action points were drained, but because I've done a lot of these KvKs, I figured, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what your boy Cheese is going to do. I'm going to go in, and every day, I'm going to just AoE barb farm, spend down my AP, and spend some gems on action points, and just see where I end up on the leaderboard. As I said in the past, had no expectation whatsoever of making top 20. I didn't think it was possible because I've seen what happens in these KvKs. It's not my first rodeo. I know that in most cases, the person who ends up at the top of the leaderboard first doesn't make top 20. Now, spoiler alert, this is going to get interesting. So I was going, and for weeks, I would just AoE barb farm, do it very casually, did it in zone 6. I would go and kind of cruise around and for the most part fly under the radar, and I'd be racking up some points. However, I had about a 30k honor lead on the 21st place player. Now, when you're grinding honor here and you're going for top 20, and trust me, this gets to an imprison. We'll get there, okay? When you're grinding honor for a top 20, you don't need to look at, oh, how many points does 20th have? You need to look at how many points 21st has. So I'm grinding honor here. I have about a 30k honor gap going into the day, but I figure I'm just going to AoE barb farm pretty much all day long, and we just see where we end up. Now, the weirdness of doing AoE barb farming on the last day is that, hey, like any good kingdom would do for its kingdom members, people were running around hunting my AoE barb farming marches. I mean, look, I have no safe zone to do this in. And I've got on the screen behind me, AoE barb farming. I know it's not the most riveting thing, okay? But like, that's what I was doing. That's where I was doing it at the time of this recording. But they would run around and it was like a game of Where's Waldo. And I knew that as a content creator especially, there could be no possible more fun game of Where's Waldo than to chase down Chisgule and to try to mess up his ability to grind honor. And that is exactly what they did. They were constantly finding my AoE barb farming marches and swarming them down. And I actually found, hilariously, that the best place to conceal my AoE barb farming marches was to just do it on their territory. I would just go, like, the place where they would least expect me, and that is where I got the most honor all day long, which is hilarious, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. The point is, I'm running around doing my business AoE barb farming. Now, when I'm AoE barb farming, just for the record, and I know, hey, look, you're like, give me the imprison. When I'm AoE barb farming, the thing that I am doing is actively hitting with 2 marches at a time, generally, maybe. And then 2 other marches are running around trying to just get to the next spot. And I found that I couldn't effectively manage more than that without making mistakes. And when you're, very drained on action points, toward the end I had saved some up, but when you're pretty drained on action points, you want to try to be efficient, right? So I'm going around and doing my thing. AoE barb farming all day long. But we get to the last hour or so, and the people that had been, in that 21, 22, 23 range all pushed up. And they actually had action points to work with, and they had safe zones to work in, and I did not, okay? And so they catch up and pass me. And I'm in like 21st, 20th, going back and forth here. And in the final hour, I realized that the only way I can barb farm at all now, there's so many people hunting my marches. Literally, there are so many people from 1093 hunting my marches wherever I go. The second I teleport anywhere, literally the second I teleport anywhere at all, they're on top of me, swarming my marches down. So I get like 2 or 3 minutes and then they're on me. So I decide what I need to do here is random port. Well, they had an 8-hour rally set on me to track my location. I ditched that by going back to home kingdom, put on a peace shield, came back, and so I random teleport. And what I had not thought about is the fact that they could actually mess me up pretty good with some kingdom-related skills. And keep in mind that at this point, I have had 3 back-to-back Kingsland fights. I have my main account, where it was like 3 weeks of insanity. I had my restart account in Kingsland. We won, pretty sweet. And then I'm actively in, and during this whole day, I'm fighting in Call of Dragons. So I'm AoE barb farming and doing fighting in Call of Dragons for Kingsland in the most insane comeback I think I have ever had in my entire time playing city building war games. I'm going to cover that in a separate video. But I've not slept much at all. I am actually so sleep deprived. I mean, people might say I'm already just an idiot, but I was dumb. So I random port, okay, with my peace shield on into zone 6, looking for a place to AoE barb farm. And I land on 1960 territory. I'm like, okay, cool. That's fine. It's literally nowhere near 1093. They at least have like a 25-minute walk before they go chase me down. So I'm going to go there. And that is where the problem began, because I left my city and they exiled me. So my city went back to my starting zone. My march was stranded 30 minutes away. And then they went, and I will put this footage on screen, they went and they hit my march with Double C Richard. That's right, Double C Richard, tier 1 units to get the 50% slow on my march. Plus, I think Double C has a slow, right? So they're slowing my march so it can't come home. So I'm like, whatever. I'm in my starting zone. There's less than 50 minutes left, and I'm bouncing between 21st and 20th. So I go back to AoE barb farming, all right, in the starting zone. But hey, look, big fat clusters of barbs that nobody's looked at for a while. Yeah, I can get some honor out of that. So I'm AoE barb farming. My march finally, after getting chased for the full 20 minutes or whatever that it took, 25, 30 minutes. I think it ended up being less than 30 minutes because you get charge talents and you start going faster, whatever. I get my march back. I got 20 minutes left. I teleport. Once I get my march back to basically a pass, I teleport to the pass, pick up my march. And at that point, I random into the zone yet again until I'm not on an alliance's territory. I send out 7 marches and I start blasting through the remaining AP and gems I'm willing to spend to try to go and get this done in the final minutes. Okay? But what do? They imprison me. And this is a problem. Now, look, I question my ability to actually win the race for gaining honor against the person from 1093 because they had more zones, better zones to work with, and they could teleport, and now I couldn't. But once they had me imprisoned, which unfortunately I was just so mentally exhausted, I actually was not recording in this exact moment when they had the imprisoned. But like, guys, I had a peace shield on. It's not like they were rallying me, right? I was imprisoned. I was locked in place. Did you know you can get imprisoned while you have a peace shield on? I get locked in place and they surround my city. And I try to run out combat marches to go hit a barb. Can't do it, broski. Can't do it. They have so many marches all around my city. Your boy Chisgule gets 21st. Now, people in world chat were trying to stick it in my face like, haha, we got you, sucker. I really don't view it that way at all. I mean, look, despite the fact that that's what people were saying, I very much view it as, hey, like, this is a kingdom protecting their own kingdom member. I have nothing but respect for that. I mean, you can call it hating on Chisgule, but I respect helping your own kingdom member get a rank for a reward. That's just like what a kingdom ought to be doing, is helping its own people get rewards, right? So If I had King, by the way, if King had been placed on me, I would have been able to continue random teleporting, and I could have raced with this other person, and it just would have been a question of who wanted to spend more gems for the final reward. But when I was making the decision as to whether or not I would pursue the top rank at all for the day and what it would look like, I realized no matter what, I'm going to get an interesting video out of this. Either I'm going to make it and get top 20, and like, that's kind of interesting. Like, you might want to hear like, okay, Chisgule, you AoE barb farmed a top 20. Wow, what a cool story. Or if I lose, you're really interested in that story. Like, that is a way more funny story. So people may think, Chisgule, you're just saying that you don't care and that it doesn't bother you just because you just want to look like, you know, I don't know, man. People say all kinds of funny stuff, but I've been watching the really, really informative videos from an entrepreneur who is more successful than I can ever imagine even aspiring to be. And his name's Alex Hormozy, okay? And initially, I did feel bad. I was like, I cannot believe. I was stressed about it. In the moment, I was genuinely very stressed. Genuinely very stressed about would I make top 20 or not. I didn't make top 20. The initial feel bad was real. And then about 30 seconds later, I was like, all right, it's done. And the reason I could do that, and this is like a freaking Jedi mind trick. I swear to you, if you learn this, your life will never be the same. But Alex Hormozy, as I was describing, does a little talk and he says, look, when something bad happens, this is the way I think about it. I know that at some point in the future, I'm not going to care. I'm not. I've been through things, they sucked, and I know that in the future, I may not even remember them. Certainly when I'm old, I'm not going to remember them. It's not going to bother me. And what if, instead of feeling the way I do now, I just start feeling the way I know I'm going to feel in the future? And that little Jedi mind trick, I swear to you, will, hey, look, I'm not saying suppress your emotions or whatever. You do you. But for me to be like, right, in a couple days from now, I'm probably not going to care. But certainly in a couple months from now, I'm not going to care. Use that. Hey, yo, look, I'm feeling great. I played Call of Dragons. We're battling in Kingsland. Like I said, the best comeback I have ever seen in any city building war game in my entire time in this genre. It is insane what we're doing, and I'm having so much fun. So I also have a great distraction over there. So congratulations to the player from 1093 who got 20th. GG to your boy Chisgule. Can I get some Fs in the comments? Nothing but respect. Just, you know, nothing but respect for protecting your own kingdom member. And like, that's what a kingdom ought to be doing, my opinion. So I don't take it personally, despite however it may have meant to have been, that I got exiled and imprisoned by 1093, and that it may have cost me a conquest coin. It is what it is. It was a hell of a way to end the KvK. And yeah, if you enjoyed the story, throw a like on here. Consider subscribing. Let me just show you some stats from the KvK real quick, because I think a lot of people actually would find that really exciting. So as you know, my main account is already migrated. Card will be in the end screen for that one. I'm now in 2268. Couldn't possibly be more hyped to be there. And a big thank you to everyone for making me feel super welcome for joining. I deeply appreciate you. Here's the leaderboard. All right, the leaderboard for the 1093 1960 KvK. And the thing that's a little weird here is that people, when they migrate, they leave the leaderboard. So I was 21st, but someone migrated and then I was 20th, and you don't get the reward for that at that point. Anyways, so here's the healing leaderboard. Addy, freaking monster in this KvK, 486 mil healed. I told this to her, and I think I said this in a video or stream, but like, in my opinion, Addy is the MVP of this KvK. Just, you know, not looking from the inside of, you know, 1960 or 1093, where maybe they would feel differently, but dude, she was everywhere doing all the things. It was very impressive, okay? And let's see here. Osno on the leaderboard, by the way. Where's Osno? He is a cold-blooded slayer. He must be trading so efficiently. So he's 17th for healing. But on the kill board, where's Osno? Where is he? 17th for healing, 8th for slaying. Yeah, baby. Yeah, so actually what's kind of interesting is to look at these ratios. So Addy traded at like a 1.4 to 1.5 to 1 ratio of kills to heals that she did. And Osno, as an example, he's got 451, I guess that's million, 451 million kills, but his heals are 2, so he's like a 2 to 1 ratio. Yo. Of course, it's really funny to actually look at an alliance level. And I don't know how much these stats have changed based on people migrating, which kind of sucks, but I think it's generally, well, I don't know. So many people migrated out of SW. I'm not sure this is accurate anymore. I don't know. But it doesn't really matter. You're interested in GT at 24 million healed. But then remember, 1093 has multiple alliances. So they've got 8.8, 8.2, and 6 bill. So they've also got like a really respectable healing amount that's comparable to what GT was doing. And then there's like, 93D and Hawks as well. So that ends up being comparable. At a kingdom level, maybe this is the more effective way to look at it. 28.3 billion heals versus 27.8 billion heals for 1960. So actually more healing from 1093. And again, I think this number is no longer accurate here for SW. We look at the individual kill board. We've seen the Alliance kill board. GT, 27.8 billion. I guess Kingdom is really all that matters at this point. That number is 31 point, it's honestly almost 32 billion. That's kills. Does not include tier 1. Get effed, T1. And then 1093 is right there. And then the death leaderboard is where stuff gets spicy. This number, actually, this might be accurate. I don't know. 1.8 for 1960, 1.4 for 1093, 789 for 2605. Although, you know what's really crazy is that my farm is still in this KvK, which is why I can show you the leaderboard. And my farm is 32 for dead troops in this KvK. Bro, my farm right here next to GT Soul. Okay, I made a video about how we zeroed him. Technically higher than Peace. That's funny. Peace's stats are on here, but she's definitely migrated. That's interesting. So maybe these leaderboard stats are still the same? Question mark? But the leaderboard for rewards is not? I'll show it to you. Like, I don't know which of these leaderboards updated based on people migrating or not. Oh, hey, I'm in here. Okay. Dude, I'm in here still. Okay. So these leaderboards are the same, but when I show you this leaderboard, oh, that's interesting. Ooh, I killed so many troops just by garrisoning stuff that I got that reward. Oh my God. Let's see here. Individual honor rewards. So I'm not going to be on this list because I migrated. Yeah, see, I'm gone. And I was like 200 points behind Bear. But I think he stopped pushing once he saw that I was imprisoned, right? So we were going back and forth, but once I was imprisoned, it was over. And, there's a couple things. If I had King, I could have kept going. It's not clear to me if I would have won or not. I would think that with people chasing me down and nobody chasing him, he probably would have won that race. And I also think that even if I had done this in my starting zone, where at least I'm safe, I think he still would have won that race because starting zone is not great. For higher level barbs. I mean, I would have had to spend a lot of gems to pull that off compared to the double value he would be getting on his barbs. Hiya. So, yeah, no, I lost by about 200 points. So, it is what it is, baby. It is what it is. GG. What a way to end the KvK. At some point, I feel like we're supposed to be able to vote for MVPs and stuff. Maybe I'm misremembering. I thought that was a thing. Season accolades. When is the MVP voting? Isn't that a thing? Whatever. This video is long enough. If you enjoyed it, throw a like on here. Consider subscribing. I had a hell of a KvK. Would I recommend that anyone aspire to fight 1960? I'm just going to go with no. their field is better than yours. And look, unless you're 1093, you're going to get raffle stomped. Not by a little, but probably by a lot. And like maybe there are kingdoms that fight them and can be okay, but like my personal experience from that is like, who really wants to play in a KvK where it just doesn't make sense to field fight? And some people are going to be critical of that. And I get it, bro. I get that it's hard to understand why it is, if you're in GT, that people wouldn't want to fight you. But like, I don't think you understand how dominant your field presence is compared to 99.9% of kingdoms in this game. But hey, don't take my word for it. Queue up against them. Go fight them. See for yourself what it's like. If you enjoyed the vid, throw a like on here. Subscribe. Cards in the end screen for the things I promised you. And until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom. GG, baby.